All right. Hey, everybody. It's Roden again, and about to kick off Eve Station Trading, episode 27 now. Like, super last minute, like, so much drama happened. I can't even realize. We'll go over some of them, of course. Disclaimer, I'm not an Allsec guy, so I don't know what the fuck all this shit means. As far as, like, the nitty gritty details, but I think I can reasonably cover the big concepts. All right, as per usual, we'll go ahead and get started with the review of our picks from last week. Looking back at it, I haven't reviewed it kind of like as kind of like a normal thing, right? Because kind of surprised me type thing. I'm really curious as to how the faction battleships actually held. Something tells me that they probably would have or are starting to spike up again, just based on the drama potentially. So we'll see. The first one we called out from last week was a buy for Macarials, which is really cool because we haven't really called out Macarials for a long time. That was definitely a darling item for traders, or at least for myself. Made so much money off Macarials off of World War B. To be honest, just flipping them, straight flipping them. That was a really good call. That was a really, really good call. We would have called that from here, and now it's beginning the sell order signals. So that was a good call. Glad we did. How much of a sell signal can we really squeeze out of this one? You know what? It's probably less of a outright a strong sell signal, and more of a elevated trading channel. That's what I would look at it. That's how I would approach it. Mostly because how tight the actual median prices are in the last 10 days or so. It's not wanting to really move strongly in one direction or another. And the volume doesn't really support a big move either. So it's an elevated trading channel is what I guess, but it is displaying sell signals now. So if you had bought it when we called it last week, you should be seeing a little bit of a profit this time. But is it flippable in its current state? Let's do the math. $93%, 7% before taxes. That's not bad. That's not bad. If you can do this in volume and you can actually sit and babysit this, it's not bad. Very doable. All right, the next thing we called out was rattlesnakes. This should be interesting. I got tight. Oof. We called it at a buy right around here. That was kind of a late call. I'm pretty sure I would have called that a soft call from last week, but could you have extracted some profit from that? I think it's very similar to the way the Macarials are working right now. It's just an elevated trading channel. I think there's still room. There would have been room for profit if you were vigilant in watching the orders. You should have had some opportunity throughout the week to do that, or to get some profit out of that. Because right now it's looking like that's hit its top end right here, and the media prices are slowly scaling downwards now. So could it be could the moving averages be heading in a direction where it's going to start to show buy signals? Probably. And ultimately, though, I think it's still an elevated trading channel, much like the Macarial. which is fine. I mean, I'd rather have a workable trading channel on something like a Macaro and a rattlesnake versus outright swings. Because when you get caught in the bad, if you time it badly, that could be your wallet, man. That could be, you know what I'm saying? That could be your wallet. So as a day-to-day, flip a handful here and there type of scenario, wide trading channels are definitely a good conservative choice for something that's high value and honestly low volume, like pirate battleships. Could you do the same thing with capitals like orcas and things like that? Probably. Marauders kind of work under the same premise as well. Wide-ish trade channels, usually sitting at the like 4 to 6% net profit range. Considering the value of from 700 or so million for orcas to a bit over 1 billion per unit for the marauders, that's actually not bad. It's really not. All right, so both good calls. Both good calls. Ultimately, I think the moral of the story is they're heading in a conservative trading channel, and you should consider looking into it, even if it's just a matter of putting a buy order of 5 here and there, a buy order of 3 or something like that. I think it's pretty reasonable to actually complete the whole buy and sell cycle within 10 days. I think it's pretty. I think that's realistic. All right, next one we called out for buys from last week was Vexor Navy issues. Something tells me because of some of these updates, Vexor Navy issue prices may have a slight change. It shouldn't be much, but all right. So we called this as a buy last week. I think it's mostly because of the trade channel that I was working off of. It's pretty wide though, to be honest. Like it's like 73 or so down to like 63. That's wide. That's wide. Hopefully you guys actually somebody would have taken advantage of this. I definitely did not. I put my money on implants, to be honest. All the implants we called 2 weeks ago. They were still sitting in the same pattern, so I took advantage of it. Oh, hey, Savik. Jackdaws. Oh, fucking Jackdaws, man. Let's take a look, dude. You should have run out of steam. Yeah, they totally ran out of steam already. So it's nice and even now. Um, I'd buy it at this rate, to be honest. If I can find a tradable, a flippable price point for this, yeah, it's probably not. Oh, let's see. Yeah, that's flippable. 91% before 9% before taxes. Yeah, it's not bad. That's not bad. All right, so those are all our buys from or buy calls from last week. Now we're gonna review our sells. We'll start with the Pith A type. This is such an old school call, man. Pith A types. Holy shit. They've dropped in value so much from like a year ago. It's crazy. So we called this as a sell. It was right here. Um, that would have been a really, really short-lived call. It's actually a bad call. That was a bad call. That was really reaching out there. That was a bad call. Hopefully no one got hurt. Well, no one should have got hurt on that one because it's a sell call. because it now just develops the more conservative ranges of the trading channel. So that was a bad call. Sorry about that. Quintos is the new price ticker. It's nice. It is. It's actually, when you click on it, it gives you the thing. It's nice. It's very nice. I mean, how, besides being nice, is it usable? No. Unless you can manipulate what's being displayed on the ticker. No. At least for me. So, yeah. There's that. Oh, hey, Toxic. Long time no see, man. Alright, next one is Corpi A-type for cells again. So that's the armor variant. Yeah, bad call on the A-type. Or the pith, rather. Corpi A-type, we call the cell. We call it right here. Yeah, that would have been decent. You wouldn't have had much time to actually act on it. But it looks like it's developing a trade channel again. Why is that? Why is that? So the masses is happy with the floor of around 50 million. That's still an elevated floor compared to, say, 6 months ago. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like these dead space items, there's such a long investment. You could almost get away with buying it really at any given time, or rather at a trade channel. It would be best to do it at a trade channel. And if you can afford to sit in volume of this for at least 6 months, I think there is no choice but to draw profit. It's one of those it's one of those long call items. If someone has a lot more experience in this and I can speak of it, that'd be great. But just looking at the way the charts are forming, this seems like such a long call item. Thousands of judges, AWOX resurrected me. I think it was a good call. I think based on what I've read, at least. I don't know Judge, so I don't know. I haven't been in CO2 forever. I was at one point, but based on what I've read in articles, based on what I've read in Discord channels, to me it looks like it was a reasonable move by the judge to have done what he did. I support that product and or service. Half-ass call on the Corpi A-type, man. Sorry. If you would have sold that here, does that harm you? No. It doesn't. I guess it depends when you got it. If you got it from here, you're okay. Probably not though. But even if you just found it as a loot drop, you still would have sold it at an above average price point. So that's still a win. So one may look at it, I guess. Hey Rel, what's up, man? Dude, everyone's talking about the judge. Holy shit. That's fucking glorious. Alright, next, last one for our reviews will be Augurer Navy issue. It was such an outlier when we looked at it last week, guys. Crazy. Why? I don't believe it was manipulation. Like, why would you, of all things to manipulate, why would you manipulate that? Why? It's not worth manipulating. There's not enough inherent value, like there's not enough stats on it to really like make people want to buy it at elevated prices. At least I don't think so. Wow, it's actually maintaining itself. That's amazing. Why? Why is this? So let's play it. Whoever this is, you're bad. From perimeter, I choose you, trade hub, you're bad. Don't do that shit. Fucking it up for everybody. Let's play off that number. See if it's even tradable. It still is. That's right. Still 8% before taxes. Toxic says, George is a pretty good guy from the times I talked to him on comms chat at FanFest. Yeah, I mean, I get that vibe out of him too. That's why I think his reasoning to you know, to be the source of karma, I think is okay. He was a source of like the balancing karma. That's fine. Just like it makes it even that much more surreal that he's a CSM. Like if he wasn't a CSM, would it have the same effect? Probably not. Yeah, that's all our reviews, guys. Nothing spectacular, to be honest. I think you're 50-50 at best on that one. So, what's the moral of the story on that one? From the calls from last week, it just doesn't seem like things were really heading in at least from a market perspective, like things gaining value. Not really, I don't think so. I think for the most part, things are just slowly but surely increasing in value just due to the nature of time, to be honest. Hopefully that changes really soon here, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, so there's been some rebalancing has been happening. What's that? So this is an article from the Imperium about the rebalancing of the alpha ship. I think there was another article detailing the same things, but the Imperium article actually nicely breaks down which ones were buffs and which ones were nerfs. That's why I'm linking that one. A little easier to read. So I really glad that CCP is attacking the balancing issues for alpha ships specifically. However, I'm going to echo this in the article and in the comments. But why just these ships? Is the intent just to... Is this all of it? Or is this just the first of several balancing passes to encompass all of the alpha ships? I think that's a pretty good question. For the most part, the only thing that really catches my eye as far as that's huge is the nerf to the Vexor of -100 power grid. That's huge, man. Like that absolutely castrates the Vexor. Absolutely castrates it. I think that's very, very heavy-handed, to be honest. You're basically saying the Vexor should never be armor. That's what you're saying. Vexor should not be armor. Vexor should not, the Vexor shouldn't be armor. The Vexor shouldn't have guns, is what you're saying. The Vexor should just be a drone boat. It's huge. Toxic said, I would assume it's meant to bring Minotaur and Mar up to snuff considering they're way worse ships for a ratio lock. Minotaur, I don't know. I mean, you get enough variation with their ammo, but it's almost like it's too variable that they become pointless at some point. You know, they become not as effective at some point. I see what you're saying though. Yeah, but that what minus 100 power grid on the Vexor. So that's really this spitballing. The only thing that's going to be viable for that one is the simple shield radar setup. Literally medium shield extenders. If you can even fit that now, you're probably going to have to now rely on easier fitting faction variants, drone setup, and that's it. You probably aren't gonna be able to fit guns in there. Armor is definitely out of the question unless. See, yeah, but as an alpha, yeah, man, that really castrates that fit or that ship. That's very unfortunate. I think that's a little too much. But what do I know? Maybe there's variations in there that I'm missing, but just spitballing just right here, right now. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I guess one of the things that I can think of why attack the Vexor like that is from not just combat ships, but if you look at all of the ship lineups. The one if you want to be a dedicated alpha pilot, there's no reason to not up until this point there was no reason to not pick Galente, because the Galente line deals with the haulers, and if you're gonna be an alpha, kind of makes sense to go for the better haulers, right? So kind of you're looking at the more complete picture of PvP and PvE. Why pick not Galente? Doesn't make sense. But then, basically, but reducing the capability of the Vexor like this really puts that decision to the player of now you actually have to make a choice. So I guess in that sense, this is a good one. It just sucks on the folks who have already bothered to train it at a certain point, but it's just a Tech 1 cruiser, to be honest. As of right now, it doesn't actually change the effectiveness of Tech 2 or faction variants yet, But one thing that this could actually have an effect, not immediately, but way down the line, would be, the Vexor's no longer popular, I'm just not going to build that. You're going to see a reduction in folks building it. Maybe. If it does come to that, you're probably going to see a small effect in the faction variant and probably not so much the Tech 2 variants. For the most part, Tech 2 producers kind of just... I'll be honest, when I was producing Tech 2, I basically built everything from scratch anyway. I would build the Tech 1 variant, then build the Tech 2. So in the end, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. But we'll see. I'm going to be keen on watching the faction and Tech 2 variants that can be produced from the Tech 1 Vexor to see if it has any changes. Or to see if the production line changes at all, rather. I think there'll be a slight change, but I don't think it's very much. All right, so hopefully there's more ships to be rebalanced. Hopefully that's not it. That's kind of silly if that's it. There's way more ships that alphas can use. The next thing I want to talk about with you guys is this is a really interesting set of articles that I saw from EN24, and I think it came in 3 parts. I only have the links to the last one. It's a set of articles called "Is Low-Sec PvP Dead?" It's not. Spoiler alert, sorry. I thought it was really cool, man. I mean, so what brought on an article like this? I think what brought on an article like this would be the upcoming moon mining changes, Snuff basically joining Imperium, and having the ideas of, like one of the last strong entities in Losec is now joining a a safer and higher quality of life nullsec block. Well, yeah. How else could it have gone? You know, right? I mean, it's, in the end, guys, I mean, it's a game. You know, don't you want a better gaming experience? You know, isn't that what people want? You know, like a more fulfilling gaming experience, and they'll have a more fulfilling gaming experience being part of the Imperium. Sorry. I just thought it was a really cool article. The answers varied wildly, which is good. Which is good. That means that lowsec as a part of the game, a very ill-defined part of the game, unfortunately, is some people love it, some people hate it. I'm in the camp of I love it. I'm in the camp of I love it because it's it's probably the last place in Eve right now that still reminds me of old Eve, where it's okay to bother to be good on your own. It's okay to not have to rely on people to get kills or do roams. You know what I mean? It's a lone wolf land, which I like. That's my style. You know, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate there's a place like that. There was definitely discussions in open comms when they went over the CSM minutes, and there was subjects on lowsec. I made my comments in open comms, but basically it's, and I'll stick by this until something happens to the actual lowsec scene. Like, CCP needs to actually come out and define lowsec. What do you want from this place? I made that comment too of you could literally, with your dev hand, remove lowsec and the game will survive. The game will carry on. You can't do that with any other type of space. So, and I'll argue and debate that with anybody. Just come at me. We can talk about it, you know. But I just don't think lowsec is actually important enough to the ecosystem to where, like, the game will continue without it. But you can't do that if you remove wormholes. The game would, you know, there's parts of the game that would just stop. High sec, you need high sec. Nullsec, you need nullsec. We don't need lowsec, unfortunately. Not in that large economic sense. And maybe that's what's missing, or that's what needs to be addressed. You need to give it some genuine economic importance. But we'll see. Until then, I enjoy just derping around and roaming in lowsec on my own and killing things in my frigates. And there's that. Thanks for letting me rant, guys. Oh, I see some Summit minutes. I was underwhelmed. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Hearing people talk about it kind of gave me the sense of nothing in there makes me go, oh my god, this changes everything. Nope. Nope. Well, probably one of the most uneventful CSM Summit minutes ever, because CCP has done pretty well to actually already communicate what was already discussed in there, which is good. So there was no surprise on moon mining. They even made a video on how the mechanics are going to work. I don't think it was, I think it was just a separate kind of instructional type video, or like a showcase of how the actual moon mining mechanics are going to be, which is good. There was no surprises on the rebalancing stuff. You know, there was just, I think this is one of those summit minutes where there wasn't a whole lot of very revealing information, which there tends to not be anyway in CSM minutes, if CCP does its job in being forward with the information, with the roadmap information. However, the one thing that kind of strikes me is the CSM minutes had the roadmap NDA'd. What? What does that mean? Do you mean that you're not willing to talk about it, or you don't have anything to talk about? That could be bad. Yeah, but we'll see. Hopefully, it's one of those we don't know what to do because we don't know how people are going to react to the upcoming changes. So maybe it's something like that. We'll see. All right, guys. The last bit before we talk about the calls, the market calls. CO2 coup. Oh my god, it's so good. So good. So my thoughts on that one. Do I see any market fallout from this? Yes. Yes, I do. What kind of market fallout are we talking about here? The kind that starts large conflicts. That's what I'm really interested in. Because, I mean, let's face it, guys. I think we're in that part of Eve's development, not just Eve the game, but the Capsuleers as a group of people where we need to feel emotionally invested to really go to war. But that gives it a little bit more value, doesn't it, though? So now with this coup, I think some people are afraid, and I think some people are like, hell yeah, let's do this. All right, so the different ends of the spectrum, and that's great. That makes for great, well-fueled conflict. I'm really looking forward to that. So what could be, and what gets me going on this one is all this is potentially going to go down when we're going through one of the largest updates to the game, fundamentally with the moon mining. Is that gonna play? Is there going to be that kind of angle when the coup kind of plays itself out? Maybe. It's gonna be an absolute shit show right now, to be absolutely honest, and that's great. Shit shows are great for the market because that means people are scrambling to get stuff. People are scrambling to build stuff. People are scrambling to move materials of war from point A to point B, which is good. What kind of things should you be looking at when it comes to something like this? Well, if you think about it, you basically have a large group of players basically lost their assets outright through thief, through just, I had access to your hangars, now it's gone, and they've locked out their space, or locked out their assets, a good portion of it, right? There's probably losses, or not necessarily, I shouldn't say losses, but asset confiscations in the trillions. People are gonna want their stuff back, and they're gonna want that back using bad intentions. Hopefully. So hopefully this fuels something big. When that happens, for our actual market people here, it's going to be the usual suspects when it comes to things that tell you something's about to go down. Isotopes, moon materials in general, and I would definitely look into any kind of irregular market activity in pirate faction anything. The initial appearances in the charts are probably going to be not even that big. Something to just bring it over the edge beyond a trading channel, and then it'll just snowball. I saw that in the rattlesnakes, and I saw that in the Macarials during World War B. Not necessarily World War B, as it's getting heated, but during the MOA times still. You were kind of seeing it's slowly increasing in value, and it's not correcting itself. That's your cue. That's your cue. That's your cue. So we'll leave it at that. That's entirely speculative. I'm just going off of what I've seen from the last large war that where I've experienced being a trader. So hopefully that's somewhat helpful for you guys in identifying the trends or what's going to be hot, what's going to be not hot. So I'm pretty sure that's going to keep the player base involved for the next few months. Hopefully. Investment group update. I got nothing really besides having offered up 5 billion ISK of my funds to one of our operators. So hopefully he's doing well with that one. The Neo Biden Planet 5 trade is a war with PanFam. I'm pretty sure they would have lost it or going to be losing it shortly. That's Fortizar that we identified to be being targeted by PanFam a few weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. So, yeah. I think it's just going to work itself out. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our calls for the week. These are pretty old calls, to be honest. Things are they're just getting back into their chart cycles. So the first one we're going to look at two things kind of together. The Genulutions. We haven't called out Genulutions in a while, like months. So it's pretty cool to actually be calling these things again. I'm calling out two of them, the CA4s and the CA2. We'll look at each one individually. We're calling the CA4s as a buy. That's classic buy. Classic buy. So the one thing I am a bit worried though, the outlier actually trends down. So there's more action on the bottom end right here. So let me kind of flesh out just this part. So you're establishing a floor. So the floor is like close to 70 million, probably 70.5, 71, something like that. However, the median price tends to be pretty well above that. So there's more people buying the Genulution Core Augmentation CA4s outright from sell orders. And that still displays it as a buy signal with the 5-day moving average below the 20-day moving average. So what may end up sucking is the trade channel continues to develop in this way, and that doesn't leave you much really for flipping purposes. It may even not give you that much to work with as a midterm investment. So let's see if this is even flippable right now. It looks like it is. Totally flippable, 10%. 10%. So that's right now, mind you. So be very, very careful with that, please. Because the chart itself makes it look like if I wasn't seeing those numbers for how flippable it is, I'd probably shy away with it. So this might be something good to play, US time zone, evening time. I'm not sure what it looks like in Euro time zone, but right now it looks flippable. So that's what I'm calling that one. All right, the next one is the CA2s. So same thing. Trade channel it still has a buy signal on, but it looks like it's about to come on up. But I doubt that it'll actually break through this ceiling. I really, really doubt it. I don't think there's enough daily volume to actually support that hypothesis. So you may be on an outright buy signal in the next 2 to 3 days tops on this. It looks like it's just going to cycle upwards. So is it flippable? Let's see. Looks like it is. 10% before taxes? Yeah, totally flippable. These are actually these are really good margins. These are really good flip margins. Really, really are. I'm kind of curious as to what's actually setting this off. But take advantage of this. Very rarely do I see these hit 10% profit margin. It's historically closer to like 5-4% net. So take advantage. Oh, hey, our burger. What's up, man? All right, next thing I'm going to look at is the MPTCs, the Multiple Pilot Training Certificate. Some people got burned on this pretty hard, man. I definitely did not get burnt on this. But hearing people get burnt on it, oh, terrible. Calling this as a buy. This is kind of a super, super early call. Super, super early call. So as we see, the 5-day moving average is below the 20-day moving average. The median prices tend to be on the bottom end. I think this is going to continue to go down. So I don't think this is going to remain as the established floor. I don't think so. So this is a soft call on a buy for the multiple pilot training certificates because I think it's got room to drop. If you buy it now, you really run the risk of not getting it at optimum prices. That's the only thing I caution you. If you think you can flip it now at the current lower prices, more power to you. But I think the better play is actually to wait this out. It really looks like it's got more room to drop. Because you got consistently slightly higher volume as it's trending downward. So that's another kind of dead giveaway. On its way down, is it flippable? A really good question. Oh my god, it looks like it is. Wow, that's crazy. Why are people letting this go? Why are people letting this go? Why are they letting this go now? I think people lost the stomach for it. They lost the courage to hold it. That's what it looks like. That's a shame. Oh, our burger says not much is wanting into station trading, seeing if your stream could help. I hope so. I hope so, man. It's a process. Like learning this stuff's a process, man. But I enjoy it. As I'm talking about it, you'll kind of notice that I kind of talk out loud the questions that the normal questions that you would ask if you're deciding whether to buy or sell an item. So hopefully you guys are catching on that. But yeah, feel free to type down some questions. If something doesn't make sense, hit me up. You can totally hit me up on email too if you want. Just on Rodin, that's my main character. So. Sorry. So yeah. So going back, I think that this has room to drop. It should have more room to drop. It may even out in the trading channel that's in right now, but I honestly believe it's got room to drop. Alright, so is it flippable? It looks like it is. It looks like it is. So let's do some quick math. Actually, no, not really. Not really. More like on the 2%. Considering how much it is, though, that's actually not bad. It's really not. You gotta babysit these orders, though. So how tight the margin is, I think, should sway people into acting as if it's still going to drop in price. I mean, you need to know something beyond. You need to know something incredibly fundamental to really pull the trigger on this now. Like, to pull the trigger hard on it. Like if you want to drop like 10, 20 bill on this, you better be like, ooh man. Like, there's something you know that I don't if you're dropping 10, 20 bill on this right now. The Salty Spittoon asks, are there a lot of trading bots in Eve? I would be amazed if there weren't at least like in the neighborhood of 5% of traders as bots. I would be amazed. It's easy, and mechanically, it seems like it's easy enough to actually create them, to be honest. Just macros even, you know what I mean? But we don't, at least I don't hear too much about folks losing their market bots. Which is that's really sucky. That's really sucky. Yep. So we're calling a buy on MPTCs, but super soft call because it looks like it's more of an observe, to be honest. So think of it that way. All right, next I'm going to cover is PLEX. PLEX, man. Very straightforward, really narrow trading channel. I would buy into this now with the idea that it's still going to increase in price. I think it's a great time to actually buy Plex right now. I honestly believe it's a good time to buy Plex. I should buy some myself. What makes me think that this is a good time to buy? This is a good time to buy because narrow trade channels end up being a good time. Like the prices don't know where to go, basically, on really narrow trade channels, like what you could be seeing here. They don't know whether to go up or go down. If they don't know whether to go up or down, personally, that's a good enough sign for me to buy them. Because eventually the price will go beyond that point. Is it tradable? No, it is not flippable at all. Don't even fucking do that shit. Yeah, dude, there's no, well, let's see. Dude, that's less than a percent right now. If you time this correctly, though, like intraday trading, that's what I mean. Maybe there's patterns in there that I physically cannot see right now because I'm not reviewing this intraday. But if you have the tools to do so, and you're thinking that there's actually an opportunity to play off the time zones, yeah, go for it. Oh, hey, Motor City Gamer, what's up, buddy? Oh, our Burger says Plex sales coming. Yeah, it's a lot of like Plex sales. This is not gonna change it that much, man. Like usually Plex sales bounce back. Like the price bounced back from the sales like 2-3 days later. I think one of the things that were talked about in the summit was like, you know, is the Plex prices actually too damn high? Yeah, they are. They are. But what were you expecting? Of course, it's gonna get high. There's no reason for it to drop in value. Even when it was still big, there was no reason for it to really drop in value consistently. You know, there's price corrections, but that's not the same. But now that it's become more attainable to actually like market trade this, and it has more uses in this current size of the Plex, yeah, it's gonna increase in value. If I were you, I'd buy them up. I'd buy them up. Come wintertime, and then if you buy them now, you should be getting ahead of people like buying them in a mania in preparation for conflict based on the drama that's happening. Hopefully. That's enough reason for me to fucking buy this thing. All right, and the last thing for buy is Caldari Navy BCS. Which I was kind of surprised at the volume of this thing. When I was reviewing, I was like, why are people buying this shit? Is it for Ravens? Is it for Marauders? What's going on here? The Caldari Navy variant. Right, straight out of LP City. That's total buy zone, man. Total buy zone. Look at that. Establish a new floor. Yeah. It's not a well-established new floor, but it established a new floor. It's good enough for me, to be honest. It should be good enough for you. Now, what if you're an LP guy like me, and you want to? What do you want? What does this information? How should you react with this information if you're an LP guy, if you're an LP hoarder? Don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. Don't do nothing with this. Like, don't turn in your LP now for it. I wouldn't. I'd wait till it starts to get to a more narrow trade channel, or appears, or at least something like where the moving averages are starting to meet, and then make your exchange. But do it like literal same day. Literal same day. By the time you would have sold off all of your Caldari Navy ballistic control systems, you would probably just be dying off the peak, to be honest. Harburger says dead Tengus. Yeah, yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. Dead Tengus. I didn't think about it. Alright, so those are all the buys. Then we'll move on to our sells, guys. I don't think I ever called the Raven Navy issue. At least not in the last 10-15 episodes, I don't think so. Alright, so excavator mining drone. I love calling this out, man. I really do. It's such a indicator of nullsec ISK making activity. Roar call, right? It's not very aggressive, but it's consistent. It's a consistent sell order or sell signal, with the moving averages, with the 5-day moving average above the 20-day moving average, and the medians above, mostly above the 5-day moving average, which is basically this classic picture right here. And slightly higher, actually, yeah, consistently higher volume too. People are buying this up. People are feeling comfortable going back to mine their space, I guess. People should do something about that. I've never tried, the excavator mining drone. I don't have a roll call or anything, but this tells me that people are settling back to their homes and going mining. That's probably not gonna last. I hope not. I hope not. I hope not. Getting ready for moon changes. Ooh, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. But that's a lot of getting ready for moon changes, man. That's a very noticeable increase in demand. Well, yeah, actually, no, that makes sense, because you can't necessarily, because now you're faced with a choice, right, of moon mining or ore mining. You can pick, like, the same character can only do one or the other. That's why they're getting popular. Yeah, okay, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. I wonder how long the demand will last, though. I mean, it looks like it's got nowhere to go but up right now. There's, like, just based on the charting, it looks like it's a pretty, like, there's no sign of it stopping. The ceiling just keeps getting higher and higher, and the floor is getting higher. Oh, Dar says C and BCS what? Hotspot. The Caldari Navy Ballistic Control Systems. If I type it all out in one go, that's the way the overlay said, like it would eat up the entire space. Sorry. If anyone knows like a way to do that in the overlay, hit me up. I don't know how to do it. All right, so a cell on excavator mining drones. That being said, if you actually have experience in building these, you may want to look into its requisite components, see if there's anything there. Next one's called Dari Navy Medium Shield Extender. This is a pretty common call that we do. Pretty common. It's just on the top end of a trading channel. That's all. That's all. That's actually a pretty workable trade channel. Probably 10 to 14. That's not bad. Yeah, I mean, I'm just calling it just because it's above average pricing. Volume, man. Like, I don't know what this is all about. I don't know what this is all about. It's out of nowhere. Alright. And finally, Raven Navy issues. I don't think I've ever called this item before. If I did, it probably would have been just one other time. It's starting to run away. It's starting to run away. Look at that. Like it starts just matching the medians, just match the 5-day average, but then just start running away there. The last 2 days. Why is there a sudden demand on Raven Navy issues? It's on the sell side. PVE? Maybe. Don't think anyone picked up Raven Navy issues as a doctrine. It'd be magnificent if someone did, though. Actually, you know, I think someone actually did. I think I remember someone I can't remember if it's TIS or Open Comms. Someone was saying they were using Ravens during one of the fights in Nullsec. I wonder if they're actually using Raven Navy issues and not just regular Ravens. That's baller status, man. That's awesome. Is it flippable? Oh, it looks like it is. I highly suggest against flipping these, by the way. Like, it's so slow. It's so slow to capture from buys. 10%. 10% for Texas. It's not bad. The reason it's so slow is because to actually get enough LP to turn in for a Raven Navy issue, unless you're active with Caldari being a tier 2, it's not even worthwhile to actually like go hard on faction warfare missions. Not a tier 2. You want to do that at tier 3. So until tier 3, you're not going to see a lot of people just making Raven Navy issues in bulk and just dropping them into buys, which you can capture and then flip for a profit. So we're not there yet. It takes a while for it to actually for the supply to actually appear. That's really interesting, though. That's really interesting. Very rarely does it get to that point. Very rarely. This is only the second time it's done that, honestly. So you got here. It took 9 days to do it. All right, so that's our hour, guys. That was really good. That was quick. I was expecting. I thought it was gonna be a short episode. To be honest, I didn't have much news with you guys. But yeah, I'm hoping the conflict materializes now. Judge, you the man. I believe in you, man. I believe in what you did, man. I think what you did was right. I really do believe what you did was right. Hopefully, this becomes something. Hopefully, this brings some good old fashioned Eve vitriol to the game, which we sorely need. We need more hate in the game so that we can feel compelled to undock and shoot each other in the face. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Besides that, what am I looking forward to in the next few weeks? More information on rebalancing, hopefully. Hopefully there's more. I haven't heard too much on the like general economic end of things, so maybe there just really isn't there anything there. Um, Hopefully, Caleb and I will be able to do some more Blue Horseshoe Club podcasts now that action is increasing in game in Eve. So looking forward to that one. I'm continuing to do Albion content as well for those of you guys who may be playing that as well. I've been doing some kind of like the similar thing here, but in much smaller chunks because the Albion market isn't very. It's not easy to show it. So that's kind of like the thing. And Eve NT is no more. We are now plus 10 gaming. I don't know if that caused people to kind of tune in late. I just noticed like a rush of people come in like way later. So, all right, that's really all I have, guys. Hey, thank you very much for tuning in. And as per usual, I'll have all this into my YouTube channel with the before I go to bed, like so the next 2-3 hours. And I'll definitely put that out on social medias. And looking forward to seeing you guys again next week. Thanks, guys.